Spring has sprung here in New Mexico, and that means some New Mexican gray wolf puppies will be exploring our state's rugged landscape. More of the critically endangered wolves are surviving and going on to reproduce. It's great news if you're a supporter of the decades-long repopulation program.
But on the other side, as you might imagine, not everybody is entirely thrilled with having more predators roaming around New Mexico. Griffin Rushton joins us with one New Mexico county's frustration, Griffin.
Yeah, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service estimates there's only about 162 Mexican gray wolves living in New Mexico right now, but those wolves sure do breed a lot of headlines. Just this week, wildlife advocates revealed a third wolf named Ella, here she is right here after she was captured, ventured north of I-40. That's the northern border of the designated Mexican gray wolf recovery zone, and unfortunately she was found dead a few days later. Now, it's still not clear what happened to her, but advocates say finding another wolf in this spot north of I-40 is a good sign that the critically endangered species is on a good path.
They're doing great. The population is increasing. Pups are surviving. It's, we're seeing their dispersal, which tells us that there's healthy numbers and looking for new territories.
But that's just one way of looking at all this. Ranchers throughout rural New Mexico will tell you they're paying the price for all these extra wolves on the landscape, and they're howling for help.
I think there's room on the landscape for wolves, but they've got to be managed.
And until they are, Catron County Commissioner Audrey McQueen says ranchers in western New Mexico feel like they're prey.
This was just for Catron County residents. There was 1,152 calves gone, 307 cows, and 31 bulls. And so for a county our size, that is a lot of money leaving our tax base and our producers.
But livestock is not the only concern anymore.
We've got wolves coming into schoolyards, wolves in and around towns. There was just somebody on Monday they stopped on the side of the road to use the restroom. A wolf came right up to them, and they're just not afraid of humans.
Catron County commissioners are set to discuss a new disaster resolution Thursday to convince state leaders to help pay for wolf-caused damage.
And with the problems we're facing right now, I just felt like we were backed against the wall.
However, data compiled by wildlife advocates shows Catron County received more than $660,000 in federal funding last year to cover the cost of Mexican gray wolf killings. And McQueen says state lawmakers chipped in another $1.5 million over 3 years. But advocates say the data tells a different story.
If you look at the numbers, you can see that depredations are actually going down. And Fish and Wildlife Service, in their 5-year evaluation of the program, attributed that to more of the proactive measures that people have been taking, like employing range riders, that's helping to keep the depredations down.
But Catron County still wants help.
By declaring a state of disaster, if the governor will sign it, or at least give us some funding where we can get more boots on the ground to help mitigate the problems.
Officials with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service confirmed there are 0 reported Mexican gray wolf attacks on humans, and they added their hazing operations and other mitigation efforts are effective at keeping the wolves away from livestock and humans.